The MPN Network and Mr. Alpete presents the State of the Culture panel discussion, a place for ideas, networking, and your voice to be heard. This month's featured panelists are Hana Ferguson, Ashley Tamarra, and Chris Clark. We now bring you the State of the Culture.
What is the state of the culture? Whatever y'all feel like y'all want to say, but what is the state of the culture? And I'll start off. For me, to add on to my thesis, I just feel like we just need more education in it. We need more experimentation. One of my quotes for this year is reward experimentation. Reward experimentation. I would love for all of us to use that and be able to, reward experimentation. Let's try it out. And if your brethren try it out or a sister try it out or whatever, like, support it. And all you gotta do is just come back and say, hey, let's change this up. Let's do this, that, and the third. But I want the culture to reward experimentation a little bit more. But at the same time, too, I want a lot of the admin side to be able to allow us to do it. That's my question.
When I first started creating content, or whatever you want to call this, it definitely was from a me, my, I. But the more that I'm getting into this and I'm going to the different events, I'm hugging the artists, I'm getting to know the story, I feel like there is just a separation in this city. It's just not a community. It's a lot of, I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's a lot of selfishness. And for me, I just think that we can use more unity and coming together and really focus on community over just monetization and lining pockets. That's really it right now.
So for me, state of the culture, at least in my experience, is community and collaboration. A lot of the things that I do in my career, I have to be, communicating with people all the time and collaborating with, different organizations, whether it's with the city or nonprofits or local artists. So I think it's very important that we, try not to be selfish. And if we want to succeed in our community, we need to be able to collaborate more. And that really builds the culture, especially the arts culture, the event culture, the business culture, really any culture that you're in. It's very important to collaborate and to see even the business side cross over to the arts. I mean, there's no straight path, and I think it's really important that we work together.
I agree.
Okay. So, like Al Pete, I also like to start stuff on Facebook from time to time. I'm usually the person who's always very critical of Jacksonville and especially Jacksonville's art scene. But I guess on a more positive note, so I moved here in 2012, and I can say that today, the art scene and just the whole creative culture here in Jacksonville is totally different. The trajectory and where it is now. From where it was then, I see a lot of growth. I know it's kind of cliquish. It's real cliquish here, but I still see the unity here as well. And, I see a lot of people here, a lot of people in this room, working together to create movements, to create events. And I mean, just things like what we're experiencing right now. And I'm seeing a lot more of it, not as much as other places, places like New York and Atlanta, big art cities, but Jacksonville is on its way. When I travel, sometimes a lot of people, they notice the things that are happening in Jacksonville, so we're on the right track. So.
Yeah, we're going to share mics. I'm sorry, we're going to share. It's all good. So, Chris, I'll stay with you, but what are people actually talking about when it comes to the scene? Like you and your other artists in the in the community. What are the things that they're speaking on? If you care to share, is it? I mean, yeah, is it good, bad, or whatnot? But what is the talk in the art scene?
I can tell you about my talk.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Talk. Um, so I have a lot of friends. I've met a lot of people through my time as an artist. I started this in 2016 professionally. And I kind of made it my business to like just immerse myself in the culture and the whole arts industry. 'Cause I didn't go to school for arts. I'm a self-taught artist, but I wanted to make sure that I knew that or knew the things that people who went to school knew. And so I've like done my research. I've made a lot of great relationships with people like all over the country and all over the world. And so I pay attention to places like Atlanta and California, Detroit, Chicago, like all these different art cities, Miami, even like Tampa and like St. Pete. And so I'm always looking at what Jacksonville is lacking, not like in a bad way. Like I just see like so much potential here. And so like when I'm calling it out online, like I'm not trying to down the city, but I just know it can be so much more. And so like just for me, from a personal perspective, there's just a lot of things I want to see change, and I know that comes with time and with growth. But I feel like some people up here said, it is kind of a little cliquish here, and that kind of holds us back when nobody's wanting to work together, or everybody has like their own thing. Like I kind of feel like coming from another city, coming into Jacksonville, I always call Jacksonville Hollywood. I always felt like people here, like thought that this was Hollywood, and like everybody is trying to be like the king or queen of Jacksonville instead of all of us working together and like building something great. So like when I go to places like Atlanta, like I see a lot of unity, not just within the arts, but like you can look at their like their music scene. Like we could have a great thriving music scene here, but like everybody is trying to do their own thing and compete when like we can do more. We're stronger together. So,
It's power in numbers.
oh yeah.
So from afar or near, because I'm mingle around the art scene. It's interesting that you say that because I be feeling like out of all the cultures in Jacksonville, the art scene is like are like together. Like when I go to events, I'm like, oh, they doing what hip hop should be doing, or the DJs should be doing this, that, and the third. So it's interesting that you say that. What can we zero in on one thing that you would like to change? I know you mentioned like a general thing, but like, could you give us an idea of like what, like, hey, we need more gallery spots to do that. Can you give us more?
Yeah. So just like for me personally, I would like to see more galleries. Like we have galleries here, but they're just galleries that mostly they either just sell work or it's like an event space, and they just like have shows. So like there are cities where they have galleries that actually represent artists and like that care about artists' careers. So they're trying to get you into museum collections. They're getting you into art fairs. They're holding like solo shows for you and inviting all these like collectors and people with money. They're just basically helping you get your name out into the world. We don't have anything like that here in Jacksonville, really, and we don't have anything specifically for Black artists. Like we don't have any Black art galleries here. So like there are galleries at the beach. They primarily sell like beach art, like beach scenes and dolphins and stuff. But like there's nothing for like Black artists or people of color artists to show their work and to help us get it out of Jacksonville, because like that's where a lot of artists mess up. They have like a very local mindset, and everybody just wants to be at the top of Jacksonville, but it's like there's the whole world out there. And so we need something to help like push us out to the rest of the world so they can know what we're doing here in Jacksonville, because we're doing a lot of great things here.
Indeed. Hannah. Speaking of not having, you were Jack's Religions, correct? You did year one.
Sorry, yes, I forgot on the microphone. I talking out. It's no big deal. Yes, for Jack's River Jams, I was the lead producer for the first year. So kind of figuring out just like what it's going to look like, what it should be, how it should be done.
So now that, well, respectfully is
Respectfully, it's
respectfully, Jack's River Jams is
RIP.
RIP. Can we? So festivals have like enormously grew in Jacksonville. Like everybody's doing a festival. So I mean, everybody was doing the festivals. Everybody is doing a festival.
Trending on TikTok.
So if it's trending on TikTok, you might as well just do it, huh? So with all that being said, Jack's River Jams was a great platform, and I'm biased to it because I performed at it twice, but still, like, just to give an opportunity for local artists to have like that. When I performed the first year, that was like my biggest stage ever, as far as hip hop. Biggest stage ever. When I looked out there, it might have been close to what, 10? But throughout the night, it had to get to about what, 50, 60, like 1,000 people. Being show.
What year was this?
This was 22. Is it 20?
Raised to Men.
There's a man, yeah.
That was 20,000 people. A lot.
And Mr. Al Peters up there rapping in front of these people. The biggest thing that I could have ever done. Like crazy. And then I had the blessing to do it again with Love Culture this year that just passed, right? I would think economically that's great. I think for the local scene, it is absolutely great. But then it's cut. Can we talk about that a tad bit? You don't have to get into the politics. But, well, I would say, why is it important to have these festivals for the local scene?
Okay, so two-part question. So the first part, it is very important to have these types of events, at least in my opinion, because one, you are highlighting, our local musicians, you're giving people jobs, you're supporting the businesses in that area, you're activating a space that may not always be activated. There's so many factors. And thinking back when I was helping with year one, we gave so many people a job that day, every week. So just thinking about the bars, the food trucks, like a lot of people really thrived just from one night. And to talk about the other side in terms of it not coming back, for me, I wasn't participating in the River Jams for years 3 and 4. I helped with 1 and 2. So, but you just think about funding is a really big thing to throw on festivals this size. Boyz II Men is not cheap. Newfound Glory, like all these headliners, they're not.
You mean Shaggy went you want $5,000?
You wish.
Okay, go ahead.
No, and it's really cool to pair a local artist with a regional and a national artist. We thought that was, a really great opportunity to introduce our local artists, to the national and regional artists. But at the end of the day, funding is a really big deal. And after COVID, things just aren't really the same. And then you also have to think about, the politics that go into it, red tape. I mean, there's no one answer as to why River Jams is no more, but River Jams may be done, but something new can come from it.
For sure. Another tough question that you probably don't want to get into, but what are the people talking about in that scene, in the festival scene or in the communications world? Because I feel like the communication world plays a role. I hated that I just turned on the TV and they was like, yeah, they're cutting this because of because of funding and how the news presented it, and it irritated the living crap out of me. But whatever. But what are the people talking about? If you don't mind sharing.
Divas for like 10 years don't believe everything the media says. They take a tiny little piece of the information and then they run with it, and it made me so angry all these years because I ran Art Walk downtown for a few years, and the things that they would say, I'm just like, that's not true. Like, I'm living this and I'm doing this, and what you're reporting is not true. So I think, what you're talking about, education, like the biggest thing is, educating people on, what it takes to run a festival or, communicating that properly. If you are the media, how are you going to present this to the public to where they're going to understand it and then process that information? It's a really bad game of telephone. Like, you hear one thing and then you pass it to someone and it's just completely different. So for me, I hear all of the positives and negatives of throwing an event or a festival. It's just really knowing that the source that you're hearing it from, if they're a trustworthy source, and if you feel like it's not, then go talk to someone that may know the answer.
Conversation. Real quick, before we move to Ashley, do you have a favorite event that you were part of? I know you have a lot of babies, but is there like a memorable moment you would like to share being involved in it? And what were you doing when you was involved in that said thing?
So I have two really good memories. The first one was when I threw my very first art walk. I had just graduated from a marketing assistant at Downtown Vision to an events manager, and my first art walk was programming the symphony at then Hemming Park. And it was just the wildest experience to see 10,000 people downtown. Like, it still gives me goosebumps to see people's, experiencing something that they might not have thought of, even going to see the symphony, at the Performing Arts Theater. So that was just really powerful and memorable. And then my second favorite memory, which I feel like is a make or break moment for me. I'm glad I didn't break, but planning year one of River Jams was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire career. And I have people who helped me plan it, and we've cried, laughed, sweat, all blood, sweat, and tears really went into year one. And so I will never forget that year. I have a tiny little trophy that says, what is it? Surviving city brain damage or something. My brain melted. But it taught me a lot, and that year really helped me kick off the rest of my time doing more festivals and events, and even helping other people want to do the same.
Community stuff. Do y'all remember when the Lander was up? When the Lander was up at there, what's that street that we could just walk down? But it was it might have been Laura. But nevertheless, I was introduced to the food truck gala. The village. That was her. I remember that whole. I was like, food trucks, street food, like, this is new to me. So, thank you for introducing that to the city. So.
It's not just me.
Whereas to her, to everybody else that was involved. If you out here, shot on me. So, Ashley, the question that I had was that you gave me. How do you feel like Duval is expressing fashion? Yeah.
Love it. I'm not going to say what I don't see. I'm going to say what I see in other cities versus what I see here. Although I live in Jacksonville, I predominantly was raised in Jacksonville. My roots are from Detroit, Michigan. So that is just a city where we put that shit on. Just flat out. My dad, he just turned 60. I could show y'all pictures right now. He's always fresh. If he say he's going to the grocery store, he puts pride into what he's putting on to go to the grocery store. I've been to LA, Chicago. I've been to these different cities, and they genuinely take fashion as personality. And they use going outside as an opportunity to get dressed. What I do see here that I would love to see, and I feel like we could, is if we just tried. Just tried. And that's what I'm here for. And I know, hey, how I dress is how I dress. But the main thing is, doing this, I want to show myself and show I'm not scared to go overboard and show up and make this a city that dresses. I go to countless events, and it's not fun being overdressed or really well dressed, and you see people in Crocs and flip flops, but we're at an event, and it's like at one point in time I felt like the oddball, but I don't care anymore. I'm gonna dress like this and however I see fit, and I really would like to see people express themselves through that way. And I know everyone isn't like fashion isn't their thing, but I think it's a lot more of that here than people want to admit, but they're afraid. And it's just made Jacksonville a Chicago, a Detroit, even in Atlanta, they putting it on up there. I mean, I don't.
No, you're making a point. I mean, I relate because 2 years ago I wanted to put this on, but I'm like,
You're doing something.
I'm doing something. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm showing you some. We having our own conversation up here about that. But no, I mean, I saw my grandfather put it on, and it started from cologne. You know what I'm saying? But like, I remember putting on his cologne and going and wearing something different at school or whatever, and feeling like that sense of pride or whatever. And I do feel like Duval, we need to have some type of sense of pride a little bit, like
A sense of pride.
yeah.
We're just not known for putting on clothes. I've never heard someone say, "Oh, they be killing it in Jacksonville." I hear it in Atlanta. It be arguable. Atlanta dudes be trying to say they killing New York dudes. Never. That's just my personal opinion. And all this is subject to personal perspective and opinion. But y'all, I'm tired of being like, look at like the eyeball. Come on, let's all just take pride in appearance, no matter where you're going. Even my grandmother, rest in peace. Like that lady was a fashion powerhouse. And maybe that's where I got it from. Like she raised me and she just always put it into us to just look good when you step out.
Indeed. So you've moved into the documentary style action.
Something like that.
Something like no,
It was an experiment.
it was an experiment.
Yeah,
But do you feel you're going to continue it, correct?
absolutely.
Okay, so can
I'm a ninja. I don't never say when or where or how. I just pop out and show them.
round of applause for that, please. Round of applause for that. Oh, 1, 2. I think my mic went out.
Nah, I done gave you.
I know. There we go. So could you? Because I'm real big on documentation. Like I just told y'all about the whole long form, short form situation. Like I'm real big on long form. Like we gotta preserve the things that we do, the history that we do. So you're taking the leeway to document, people around town and do that stuff. So please let us know about this series that is going to continue for sure.
Okay, it's definitely gonna continue. Okay, so I'm like, I know y'all see my videos and I'm like really outspoken, but I'm kind of like an extroverted introvert. So when I did that series, this guy right here that's filming me with the yellow hat on that's burnt. He was filming for me, and we just like, let's start something. And we went to recurring events around town to document street style. So basically, that is the purpose of the I can't even talk right now. That is the purpose of the documentary. It kind of played off of one day. I put on my clothes. I was like, I'm looking like a rich auntie, and I went to Trader Joe's. And I was like running into people, Trader Joe's, like, hey, why you put this on today? Let's talk about it. And it was like the people responded really well. But what I noticed is that people felt good about being approached and complimented on what they had on, even at the grocery store. And so I kind of filed that away, and I said, what if we just did that on a bigger scale, more long form? And that's kind of how we did the first episode. It's called What People Are Wearing. It's very simple, where I'm just doing street interviews, walking up to random people who I think is fresh, and asking them what inspired your roots today.
I love it. So if you get approached If you get a oh wow, okay. So if you get approached about your outfit in the streets, whether you're in art rock or wherever, feel free to let them know why you put it on. And I guarantee you, pride and a sense of community, because I feel like that's a major part of community. Like putting on clothes and your peers telling you, oh man, you nice today, man, or you smell good. Like that elevates you. That elevates you to be like, you know what? I put this project off for a while back. Let me jump back on this project. You know, it could be anything. So fashion definitely plays a major role in that. So congratulations on that.
What was so interesting about it is that there was so many different elements. Like no one looked the same on that video. I ended up running to Kel the rapper, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't even know I was first today." But that's just the point. It's just an effortless thing. We just ran into random people. So y'all be on the lookout. Watch out if y'all see me coming with a camera.
Get your shit right. Yeah. To go back to Chris Clark, I know we was talking about, you asked me to change it from street art to public art. Can we educate the people on the differences, if there is a difference on that, so people can kind of identify with what you truly love? Or I know you do everything, but
Yeah, so I wouldn't classify myself as a street artist. So street art is more like graffiti, tags, stuff like that. Anything like what you'll see on the train or on the side of a building. So I'm more in the muralist space. So like a lot of the projects that I do are commissioned by like the business owners or the city or different organizations. I did one recently that was commissioned by the United Way. I've done Boys and Girls Clubs, so that's kind of the difference. I guess street art, whereas murals is more like commission work.
okay. So I have a question for everybody. These next couple of questions will be everybody. I want everybody to answer, and y'all probably y'all talked about it roughly, but I'm gonna center it in. But what challenges are y'all facing in your particular disciplines? And the second part of that is, how can the community help change that, maybe? Or what are some things that can be done? Question.
I gotta go.
Yeah. You got to go. You got to go.
I don't know if I'm facing any challenges. Like, not to sound like, not to sound like cocky or anything, but I don't know. I don't see challenges. Like, there's always a way to like get around every obstacle. So like for me, like early on in my career, I guess the challenge was like access or like what's the word? Just like being seen here in Jacksonville. Like I felt like there were certain groups of artists, and I think every artist feels like that. Even there's some artists right now today that feel like, dang, we see Chris everywhere. He was just at TEDx, now he's here. But
Like literally, he was at TEDx before he came here.
like I used to feel like that too, but instead of like being in my feelings, like, oh man, like the gatekeepers and this, I took my talents elsewhere. I'm like, the art world is, or the fashion world, the music world, whatever world you're in, is bigger than Jacksonville. So I was like, well, I'll go look for some shows in Atlanta or some shows in New York or Miami, DC. And so for me, I don't really have, I don't know. I always find a way to like rise above certain things. Like there's always a way around or through or above. So
I mean, that's a good problem to have now. Like, we ain't tripping out here, I don't think, right? Like, it's cool to not have challenges.
yeah.
But I think it's important that what you just said, I think it's important for the people to hear that. Because, some people might feel like, I don't know what to do. Or it literally might be haters out there. You know what I'm saying? That somebody might face, like the gatekeeping stuff. Like, I know in hip hop, we faced that like very hard. Like, there were gatekeepers like crazy. And honestly, to right now, it's still to that degree. So I know for me, I show up for my hip hop folks as much as I can.
What type of gatekeeping have you experienced in your career? Can I ask you a question?
Oh, can I get questions asked on me?
Like, what when you say gatekeeping, what are some examples?
There has been shows that had popped up, and it's favoritism. You know what I'm saying? People say, okay, well, I'm just going to put him on because that's my homie, my cousin, or whatever, knowing good and well there's a more qualified person that could be in that spot. I remember years, many moons ago, I just wanted to collab with my people that I felt like that were OGs, but they just blocked a lot of information. It was very cold. And I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to take your spot. And later on, I really feel like, and even to this day, I feel like a lot of people are just extremely threatened by me. Bless you. Hey, Katie.
Gorgeous.
She looks gorgeous, y'all. Katie Yellow. What was I saying? The gatekeepers,
Yeah, they feel threatened by you.
yeah, the whole threat, the situation. And it's like, at first, I was just thinking like, oh, okay, well, I just didn't get the opportunity. It's whatever. I'll find a way to do it. The Chris Clark situation, like, I'll just go get opportunities elsewhere. But it's like, you want to be homegrown a little bit, and it's like a lot of opportunities were just blocked because people felt like they had whatever longevity to do whatever, and yeah, they just shut it out. So I've experienced that like crazy, especially when it comes like specifically hip hop when I'm an MC. DJing, not necessarily, but hip hop, absolutely. I've always felt like I've had to like make my own lane for hip hop, and I still feel like to this day, like I relate more to the younger generation than the people that came up over me. Like and that's cool. I'm fine with that because I just want to make sure I pour into the people that, they do their research. These people know who I am, and I'm like, I just love your music. How can I help? You want me to buy it? Hey, this venue over here is asking for these people, blah 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 blah. But for me, I didn't get that. Okay. I didn't get that, and that's just one of many. That's one of many. Any challenges you got?
All the time. That's my life is just a bunch of challenges.
Okay.
I think for me in planning events, especially, every event has its own challenges. So identifying what those challenges are and then being able to solve them. That's literally just my life all day is I have a challenge. Who can I go to help me solve this? So you got to be quick on your feet. So, depending on the event, is it funding? Is it vendors? Is it access to, a property, like finding a venue? I think there's challenges in events all the time, but that's kind of why I love it. It keeps me, engaged. It keeps me going, and I'm learning a lot. And as I plan each new event, I take what I've learned from the previous and apply it to the next one. But there's always going to be challenges. And I feel like in everything that we do, there's always going to be challenges. So it's, who you know and how are you going to solve that challenge to keep you going. Because if you have one challenge and you're over it, then what's the point? Like, why are you doing what you're doing if you don't want to face those challenges? Yeah.
Ashley?
Well, first of all, when we think about the word challenge, it's necessary for growth. If you aren't being challenged, if you aren't being challenged, you're not growing. So for me, on this journey that I'm on, you would have to ask me that question a year from now. Because for me, the biggest challenge was self. Like I said, I'm like an extroverted introvert. So even for me to be sitting here in front of people, this was a challenge being overcome. It's some people sitting out here right now I'm in very close communication with. And my goal is to not just talk about it, but be about it. Getting into the community, showing up at places like, okay, that's the girl eating bougie. So I can't say that I have challenges now. It's all like a personal development where I'm at right now. But with what I plan on doing here, I can tell you some challenges that I face when we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So with that, what do you have one that you can think of right now? Like, I know the challenges will come later,
Yeah.
but hypothetically, Is there any way that the community can help you overcome that challenge? Like, what can the community do to assist you? And I know it's broad in general. I know we're gonna open it up for questions and answers after this. But what's one thing that somebody can do to support you?
It's the little stuff, sharing the flyers, sharing the content, liking, telling a friend, like not being, that's why I asked about what your definition of gatekeeping was. Because just the other day, like I was looking toe down. So I had just got off work. I was running in Five Below and I saw someone and he was like, I'm a fan. And it, like, first of all, like, whoa, like that was big because I'm like, I'm just being myself. But you never engage, you never share, you never talk about it. So I just think even with the people that are up here, you have a lot of people that don't know who Chris is. You have a lot of people who don't know who Hana is because we're looking at it and we're not engaging. We're not sharing with each other. We're not putting it into the community saying, hey, this person is dope, or showing up to the events. I think that we can get to a place just from sharing, even with what you're doing, this can be triple fold just from people engaging. So maybe that could be a challenge, I guess.
Do y'all have any? Well, the same question. Is there something that the community or the admin can help you with?
So for me, from the community side, it's, showing up, sharing the event. If you are, a part of a business that can, sponsor or fund the event, there are different ways to show your support in anything you do. So it's knowing that what you're capable of doing, and even if it's just something as small as sharing, on social media, you are still doing something that is not nothing. So, but if there are any businesses that want to sponsor my events that I have coming up, those kidding.
Hey, no, keep going.
No. I'll do that later. But yeah, I mean, just show up, attend the event, tell your friends.
I want to add something to what you were saying. Even for me, I make content, obviously. So even when I'm going to someone's thing, I make a post about it. You just have no idea that one little reel. I'm going to throw you out there too. I just went to her sound bath class last weekend and I just shared it on my story. And it was like 2 new people came just from that share. But imagine if we all did that, that would boost her business up. Then when I left, I made a content about it, free of charge. It ain't no, hey, this how much I charge. It's really from a genuine place. So just engaging and being involved. Even this event that we're at right now, this space, Sakani does a lot of work here. And I feel like it's just like not promoted enough. So where people like, dang, I didn't even know that was there. So I think just getting back to that word community, sharing, engaging, telling a friend, and actually showing up, not reserving because it sounds cool and you don't even come. But then look at the pictures later and don't like it no way. Don't get me started tonight. I mean, don't get me started.
I mean, I can count on all y'all hands how many times I went somewhere and somebody told me about my post that they didn't even like, and I'm like, how do you know what was going on with that? But I mean, every time people would come and, yeah, man, you was talking about, Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, well, darn, I made that post like a week ago, but I don't know. So yeah.
I mean, if you genuinely don't like it, that's cool. But don't walk up to somebody and say, I'm a fan that I've never seen you engage. Not just me.
Right. Chris?
I agree with everything that they said. I did have a question for you. I know you're not on the panel, but
Am I on the panel tonight? That damn pizza, boy. That damn pizza. All right, go ahead.
so, when you were talking about like gatekeepers in your past and like how you wanted to work with certain people and you felt like certain people were blocking you, like maybe like from opportunities, I just wanted to ask, like, where are those people now? Well, before you answer, like, the reason I asked is because we experienced this in the art community too, or at least I did, like early on, like here in Jacksonville, a lot of people, I guess because we are lacking in a lot of opportunities compared to other places, So when people do get an opportunity, it's like sacred. Like they want to hold on to it, and so they're scared. Like, dang, this new young rapper is coming up. He's gonna take my spot. Instead of like reaching the hand back down and helping that rapper up. But I think the reason we don't have a lot of that is because like it's easy to hit the ceiling here in Jacksonville, whatever field that you're in. And it's like once you get to the top, people stop and they want to hold on to that spot. But there's always going to be new artists, new musicians, new placemakers, new fashion people coming up. So you like the goal is to keep leveling up. So that way, when those next people come up, like you out of the way, and like you've experienced and learned, so now you can help them get to where you are, where you once were. So I feel like a lot of people who like gatekeep and block opportunities, they've hit the ceiling, they don't know where else to go, so they're trying to hold on to that spot. They don't want anybody else to threaten it.
I had a question for you.
Hold on, let me answer the question real quick. No. We throw out questions, but to answer the question, well, I'll say this: it was an extreme honor for Love Culture to bring me on to Jack's River Jams, and one of my main thoughts was, I felt like I should have been doing this with the OGs, like. A big stage like that. When I first came into the hip hop scene, I was thinking like, oh, we gonna be on these stages. Like, and I'm even when people talk to me, because people, respectfully think that I'm the stop of hip hop. Like they're like, okay, well, he's the hip hop guy. We need to go to him. But I'm like, no. You need to holler at these people, my OGs and people that came forward, and then you need to check out all these other folks. So to put that in in content, yeah, like for Love Culture to reach out to me and bring me on stage. And I share the stage with a very vibrant group of young, respectfully young artists. And I've never done that with my OGs or whatever. That puts it into perspective. Like, I would think that it would, because apparently I'm still doing my shit, and the others might not be doing it. Go ahead.
I was talking to a business owner today, and he used the term crab pot mentality when it comes to Jacksonville. What are everybody's views on that term, and can you resonate with that?
Overall, I can't. No. Because even before, when I was still making and I'm still progressing, y'all. I just want to let y'all know I'm still progressing in this game. So, and that's from a DJ side, MC side. I'm always going to be a student in this. But I've always had something in me to be like, look, let's just try it. Let's just do it. I ain't worried about no crab pot. Like, why am I even going to allow somebody to throw me in this pot? Like, I didn't wake up in this pot. I wasn't born in this pot. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I can't do this? Nah. I remember one time when the club, it was on Bay Street. It's like Tuesday nights, man. It was like, we always used to go there. And they shut the club down at like 1 o'clock. And I was like, I'm just going to set my DJ stuff up on the curve and continue playing. Ain't nobody to tell me. I mean, now, I might have been wrong to do it, but I mean, I was pushing the envelope on that. So for me to do that, it wasn't the fact of, I'm tired of being in this pot, I'm finna get out of it. Nah, it was just something in me to say, let me just do it. So when it comes to that crab pot stuff, I don't subscribe to that. Now, I do feel like a little bit more presently, like, damn, when this person was gatekeeping, they was hating on me. Oh, I feel. Nah, man, that crab pot. The only time a crab pot is when I'm cooking some goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm cooking the crabs and stuff like that. All that crab pot pulling stuff down. Like people don't even be in the people be hitting ceilings, and it's like you want to pull them down because of that ceiling. Like that's crazy. Like I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that exists, but
I just hadn't heard no one say that in a long time. So
what, the gatekeeping, the crab pot? I think that it's a buzzword. I think it's just one of those infinite buzzwords that people want to say. It's cute to say, we eat crabs, we put it in the crab pot. It's the analogies of that is so off, but whatever.
The only thing I'll say is is if someone's going to tell me no, I'll find someone that will tell me yes. And I will go to that person and work with them. And I've done that my whole life, personally, professionally. If you're going to tell me no, I will go to someone who will tell me yes.
Fair enough. All right, let's give a round of applause for our panelists. So real quick, let's do, if anybody got any questions that they want to ask, we're going to spend about 10 minutes to do that.
So my first question, first of all, I also identify with the concept, all y'all, but no, I resonated with all of you in a different way. The fashion sense. I think one of my favorite compliments, because I teach, is when I go to school and they're just like, oh, I love your outfit. And then you're surrounded by people who kind of have adopted a uniform in a sense. And I think that's what I run into when I'm walking down the streets. It's been a number of times of where I'm just like, oh, I'm overdressed for this. Maybe should I have changed?
Never.
Then you get that inspiration of the head turning. And it's just like, I feel the more people who come and they find their footing or they see more people putting it on, then they'll too be inspired. So do you feel like your documentary was a way to inspire other people in that aspect in order to have the courage to put that on?
I hope so. Like I said, it was really an experiment. The sound was shitty. I was nervous. I was messed up. Like, it was really long to edit because it was a lot of technical difficulties. But I can see that maybe developing into something like that, being more of a self-confidence thing. I don't know. It was just something I threw out there. I really move on vibe, and when God says, "Hey, here you go," I kind of move off of that. So that literally was that. So it wasn't even something I planned. But I really hope so. I got a lot of great feedback. I hope so. I hope that is the purpose, because I haven't seen anyone do it here. I'm not saying I'm not a trailblazer by far. I just hadn't seen it, and I don't know.
Usually the only times that I'll see it is the ones who are the creator. Is
Like, what you mean?
So I'll see a lot of hip hop people who create some type of art or somebody who already has a presence.
You see it a lot in New York too.
People,
Right. You see like it in New York, big time, people. But I feel like we're all people. I feel like we should be all celebrated and documented. And I think the girl down the street with the thrift store boots is harder than the one with the Balenciaga boots, depending on how they sauce it up. So it's just like really taking fashion and representing it as an art, because that's really how I see it. So you make art, you do festivals, that's art. My art is fashion. So I'm here to show people that it is here in Jacksonville. We don't have to, I'm not gonna go to Detroit to put it on. I'm not gonna go to New York, and I'm here to start a movement. Hey, girl.
Hold on, Ruby. Hold on.
Microphone. Oh, you're right.
Y'all good? Y'all good? What's up?
Okay. Hey, Ashley. Hey. I just want to say I love that you're doing the documentary. I really want you to keep with it, because we need more leadership, true leadership in Jacksonville amongst different industries, because that's how the notoriety happens. So you taking leadership, because that's what you're doing, essentially. You're taking leadership. You're basically saying, hey, I'm staking claim. I'm fly. People need to know that people in Jacksonville are fly. And it's going to go beyond Jacksonville, because I speak very real. Jacksonville has a follower mentality. They wait until something else is popular to jump on it, and we're always late.
Yeah.
Always late. If it happened in 2011, we ain't get it till 2017.
I want to chime in on there just a little bit, and I might ruffle some feathers. Oh, ruffle it, Wayne. Let's ruffle it. I I've been going to a lot of fashion shows in this city. And it's underwhelming. It's underwhelming. I can go to a poetry set. I can go to when y'all did the 3-part series. I felt inspired when I left. I'm leaving these fashion shows and I'm not inspired. And the people are throwing them are being celebrated and congratulated. And it's very what's the word? Key.
Late.
Word.
But mediocre. They're celebrating mediocrity. Give her over the shit.
Oh, sorry, Penna, you won't go ahead. So I have a question for you then. How do you change that?
That's the work that I have to do.
Yep.
That is literally conversations. I'm having 2 and 3 hour conversations with people that are like-minded. I'm going out and meeting the artists and the designers and getting their input. But that was the challenge for me to get out of the house. See, I've been in the house. Someone told me today he thought I was from out of town, but this is like my second life in fashion. But this time I'm here to really make a difference because I know I can. So it's gonna start with me having these conversations, doing the footwork, going to the events, touching the people, building the community, and I can't complain about it without a solution.
Working with those organizers to help them grow.
Literally. Y'all about to see something.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do 3 more questions, and then we're gonna play some music, man.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Y'all better shameless plug y'allself in here. Yeah, follow Jay Walker the artist on Instagram. No,
Do. I post about you all the time.
I know, I appreciate it. No, I know you done caught some stuff. I appreciate it. I guess my question is, why stay? What? I don't think many people think about that. Let's just imagine you are a gatekeeper. Not saying that you are, but I think sometimes that runs across our minds. I know me, I think generationally because I got a kid. And I'm like, why would I stay in Jax? Obviously, I speak to myself in a different way to where I try to figure out how can I create generational wealth for my child. But is it worth being here in this place, within this city and within this dynamic? I don't think so many people think about that. I know, Chris, you breathing, because we talked about this the other day. Let y'all in on like one of our conversations, and it's cool to be within the artistic space because we always have conversations like this, where it's like, what is it with Jax? You know, I know what it is, but I'm just throwing that question out. Like, why stay here in this city?
What is it?
Oh, you want me to answer? Oh man, I'm a panelist, y'all. I mean, I think we all prospectively have already said that the city has a lot of potential. But it's not just being able to just hear the word potential, but it's actually being able to see the potential the city has. And it's not just the people. It's the fact that other people from other cities is actually coming to this city. If I could tell you I was randomly out there at my studio in Springfield, walking down the street, just looking at the murals, and 2 people from Miami randomly walked up to me. And these are not the guys that developed the space. These are random guys from Miami that lived close to Wynwood. They said, we moved to Jacksonville because we missed Wynwood. And I'm trying to figure out, how is it that these people from Miami have perspective enough to see what's about to happen? But it's also these same people that were in Miami that did not talk crazy about their city. So it's too many people within our city dynamic that talk crazy about their city, and you still live here. So I always ask myself, why are you still here? You could be a part of the negating of the growth that needs to be here, because you could present conversations that aren't growth worthy. They're so negative to where you forget to even talk about the positive. You forget to even talk about the what if. You forget to even talk. It's like politics. But in our cases, we have creative politics. So even like the word gatekeeper, I don't listen to I don't relate to the word, right? Because you can eventually become the person that they say is gatekeeper. So it's like, it's not until you say no to an opportunity and you point to somebody else and say, hey, put this person on. Like I did that for, what event was that really? Wind Down. I was like, no, I'm not about to do it. I told them specifically I will not do it. I said, I'm gonna put this artist on, I'm gonna put this artist on, but I'm gonna couple them with a professional because that professional is gonna show them how to do it. And then they're gonna learn how to grow into that space. And they're like, no, we still want you. I'm like, if I do it, it's just gonna be pro bono. It's not even gonna be for nothing. I'm gonna just chill here. I said, but I need to go ahead and let them go ahead and learn how to do it. And it's not saying, no, I'm not even at the pinnacle of what I know I can create and do within the city. I'm like just growing within the spaces. But it's that thought process. Like Chris said, I love Chris's perspective when he's like, I don't know, I already see no problem. Because if you look at the problem, you ain't never gonna see the solution.
It is.
Oh, I wasn't going to answer the question.
That's I just better know is. Yeah, go for it.
So to answer Jed's question, I'm here because I got 3 kids. And so if I didn't have kids, I would have been gone a long time ago. So I heard something a few years ago about potential, speaking about the potential we see in others. And they said that the potential we see in others is not real. What we really are seeing is what we would do if we were in their shoes and had their talents or their gifts or their intellect. But it doesn't mean anything, the potential we see if they don't see it themselves. And so I think one of the major problems with Jacksonville is Jacksonville doesn't see its potential. Just like you said, some guys from out of town came here. They're like, oh, man, this is going to be great. But people here in Jacksonville don't think that about Jacksonville or don't think that about the city. And that creates like a stagnant city. The growth is stagnant because people don't believe in the potential that other people from out of town see. That's why you see all these developers and people from out of town like, dang, Jacksonville could be this. Let me buy this land up. Let me buy this property. While we have people here with the resources to do that, but they don't believe in the city. And then they turn around and complain, oh, these people are coming from New York and Miami, or you could have did that. And so that's why, like me, like I said, I would leave if I didn't have kids because I feel like my creativity is up here. Jacksonville is right here, so like why would I stay here and stagnate my growth when I could go to a city who's up there and it was constantly moving? But I'm here, so I got to make the best of it. So I aim to be a part of the growth and a part of the change instead of just talking about it and like helping the city grow and move forward the best I can while I'm here until I win the lottery or something there. I'll see y'all next time.
For me, that's actually a really good question because that has been my plan, was to leave. But for some reason, like God just is keeping me here. And I'm starting to think it's not a mistake. It's no question. Like I go here, I be overdressed and stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't feel inspired like at all. I need to go somewhere where this is happening. But when I'm having these 2 and 3 hour conversations, I'm never begged, but it's almost like, please stay. We can do this. We can unite. We can do this. And I'm kind of like, when you were talking about when you get one no, you find a way. And I feel like if it's something I really want to happen, it's no reason it can't. So I'm staying here because God has me here.
I think for me, because I was the same way growing up, I was like, I'm going to leave Jacksonville. I hate this city. But then I realized I was complaining all the time and not doing anything about it. And once I started getting involved and meeting people and talking and collaborating, I realized how much I really do love this city because of how much potential we have. And if you know me really well, if someone shits on Jacksonville, I will debate them and do everything I can to convince them that it is a great city. There is a lot of potential, there is a lot of growth, and I think why I don't live in Miami or any of these already established cities is I feel like my voice won't be heard as much as if I were here. And people are listening to me and, you know, respecting me more or allowing me to do the things that I love to do that benefits our community. Whereas if I went anywhere else, it would just be another person in the audience. So I see myself staying here because I have so much work to do here. And I know that I can help our community be better with the people that I work with.
All right.
I didn't promise I'm gonna stay, but while I'm here, let's be for real. Not against Jacksonville, but just for my life to experience different cities. But while I'm here, I have to give it my all.
Oh, I'm retiring in Portugal. It's tough.
Yeah, I got a couple places I need to go stay at. So, but definitely just actually trying, because like you were saying, you can't complain about it if you don't have a solution. So, I guess that's why I'm here, even up here. So.
Indeed. 2 more questions and then we gotta get the party in, y'all. Get the party in.
Not at a VP.
Thank you.
Stop. Can y'all hear me?
She just did a TED Talk to Dorel.
Give her a round of applause.
She crushed it.
Crushed. Stop. That's like. Do you want me to embarrass you now in front of everybody? You want me to do that? I didn't think so. So I'm not from Jacksonville. I relocated here 3 years ago, and I have a really interesting privilege to be in the room with the artists on the ground up, and then up in the ivory tower with the politicians and big funders. There is a huge divide. I'm like, how to get y'all in the same room? Because when I'm in the room with artists, I'm having that internal dialogue about mediocrity and raising the bar, thanks to my good friends who raised the bar for me. And then when I'm in the room with the higher ups, I'm like, they don't have the same opportunity, in all due respect, Chris, to buy the land, to buy the house, to develop 8 acres in a neighborhood. So my question for y'all is, where's the in-between? Where can we meet together? And then what opportunities do y'all want to see us design from above that are actually accessible and applicable? No offense to anyone out there programming or putting on events. I don't think y'all want to do another live painting or another insert really shitty gig here that keeps your bar low, in all due respect. So what kind of opportunities do you want to see produced for you?
Like I said, I just got outside. I guess coming to the meetings to begin with, the fact that you're even here opening the door, we've never met a day in our life. So, hey, let's talk. I mean, I don't think it's like a question that can be answered right here at this second. It's just more so knowing that the door is open for someone like me to come in and offer a perspective and to see some, support, community, and growth.
You can go.
Sure. So from the perspective of an artist, so I have a lot of friends, like I said, I have friends like all over who do art. The one I can think of, my friend Clarence Hayward, he lives in North Carolina. He's had several museum solo shows in his city. He has works on permanent display in the museums in his city. And for artists, that's like big for your career, like being in a museum, having your work permanently there in their collection, that's big. We have a museum here. We have 2, but mainly like the Comer. I don't think the Comer Museum, at least not the last time I looked, has any work in a permanent collection by local artists. And I'm not even talking about like people like my age range, but like we have like a tremendous like wealth of talent here. So I would like to see the artists taken care of more, and like put up in those spaces. Like we shouldn't have to go and get recognized somewhere else before we recognize at home. So I would like to see like our museums and our local art spaces kind of like lift up the artists more here. Like when I go into the Cumber Museum, I should see some Marsha Hatchers in there, some Overstreet Ducasse in there, along with like some of the other artists. Like we have works on permanent display from artists in other cities, but like we don't have any Jacksonville. Like the city of Jacksonville, the community, when they go into these spaces, they should be able to see work that represents them by people who live in their same communities. So, like we have world-class artists here, and so that's like one change I would like to see.
Katie, I think I'm on your side of the perspective in terms of, how can we help our artists, be seen, be heard? How can we advocate for them? How can we get them in those rooms with the people who are, too high up? So I think it's, people like us are placemakers, event planners, the ones that are curating the spaces to actually talk to the artists in our community and see what is missing, what they want to do, what they would like, what are their goals, what do they see in our community, and finding the people to help, achieve those goals.
All right, one more question, and then we are about to party real quick before we break out. The food truck is back there, so please get some food. Please get some food.
Thank you so much. So this question is for all four of you. Now that you all have a platform, this is a platform. This is gonna live forever. People can hear this interview. They can go back to it. They can pull from it. What is your plan to bring people up to the level that you all have achieved? I mean, you all have a stage now. So there's people right now at home that are like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. How do I get outside, Ashley? How do I start going out, Ashley? How do I start putting myself in these rooms? So what advice would you give for those people that are at home that want to really get out there and start making things happen and making a change and making a difference?
The first thing is you need to believe in yourself. I know there's just like a generalized answer, but you have to just make a decision that you want to get outside, that you want to, and you have to show up. I think one thing, everybody who watches my content and what I do, I'm consistent. I show up for myself. I show up when I don't want to, because I really believe in what I'm doing. So follow what I'm doing. I'm putting y'all on to the stuff. Show up.
And knowing you personally, I do want to just give you your flowers because you are doing the work. I've only known you a couple months. You are getting out there and putting your name in rooms and putting yourself in rooms. So it does work. The work does work if you work it. So
you just have to get over the challenge. If you were like me, an extroverted introvert, you have to challenge yourself to go to stuff by yourself. I have a very close knit of friends that I love like family, but I realized within the last 3 months, we're at a fork in the road where I'm going in a different path, and I can't let what they have going on stop me from going down this path. We still friends, they're supportive, but this is not their thing, and that's okay. So you just have to know if it's your thing, fight for it. Show up for yourself. Go. Even if you have to go by yourself, because 9 times out of 10, someone there is like-minded, and I meet the most interesting people just from showing up alone. So that's the first step, show up.
I definitely agree with the show up. I'm an open book. If you want to learn how to put on a festival, I will give you everything you need. I will not gatekeep. I am tired, so take it. But again, as Alpete said, everyone's throwing a festival, so why not give those people the tools to do it properly, to do it, what benefits our community, not just throwing a festival just to throw a festival. So I think, for me, I will use my platform to help the next aspiring placemaker, event planner, community organizer. I mean, whatever it is you want to do. If I can't help you, I will find someone for you.
So is there any other artists in here? I don't talk about it a lot, or I don't like to post about it or like make a big deal about it. But any artist who's in the room knows that if there's ever any kind of opportunity, I'm always sending it to your inbox. So like one thing with me, I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not afraid to ask questions. So I'm in like established artists inboxes all the time, and like surprisingly, like they respond and they help. And so like that's kind of like my way of paying it forward. Like I want to do the same thing for the next generation of artists coming up. And so I'm always sending calls to artists, apply for this, look into that, read this book. This is a new book I just got. I put a lot of people on the Rick Rubin's book. What else? Any art catalogs, any documentaries I'm watching. So I'm always trying to help people to get to where I am. I remember when I was a kid, I was riding to school one day with my mom. We were listening to this morning radio show, and they had Russell Simmons on, and they asked him, like, when did you know that you had made it? They were like, was it when you got your first Rolls Royce, or when you made your first $1 million? And he was like, I knew I had made it when I was able to help somebody else attain the same level of success. And so that's something that I try to do every day. Like I'm not as big as people think I am, but like it always brings me joy when I'm able to help other people get, some of the opportunities that I'm getting, and beyond the opportunities that I'm getting. So.
Indeed. All right, so let the people know ready. I was supposed to answer that too, wasn't I? Damn, I'm sorry. Education. I feel like this is one of the biggest things that I feel like it's missing, the education part. So I just took the liberty to say, hey, I'll be the person to learn it, research it or whatnot. And I just know, when I was coming up, I hate to bring that gatekeeper question or thing up, but I wasn't getting a lot of information. So I had to just go and get it myself. So I just told myself I wasn't going to let nobody come from up under me. Like, I'm not going to let them come and they don't have the information that I got. And I just want to be able to learn how to educate people thoroughly from an admin side and the creative side. So that's my thing that I would like to do. I like helping people as much as I can, man. I love seeing people blossom when they get that information, or their eyes get bigger when they get that piece of information and they run off and do it. I love it. And I don't ask for nothing back. I just be wanting to help people, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, let the people know where they can find you at. Whoever starts, go for it.
Everywhere. No.
Google.
I'm on Instagram, Hana, HANA .Ferguson _. It's weird because my other account got hacked, but also you can just come talk to me after. I'll give you my phone number. I don't care. Yeah, it's all yours.
I'm on every social media platform from YouTube to Pinterest at EAT, EAT, and Bougie, BOUGIE.
Same for me. I'm everywhere, all platforms, Kuliwas Art, Twitter, and X. I'm about to get off X. I got a Blue Sky now, so yeah, but everywhere I'm there, Kuliwas Art.
Indeed. Let's give a round of applause. Let's give a big round of applause for our panelists. Y'all make some noise. We thank y'all so much. So, all right, we finna play some music. Let Love is gonna, listen, we finna play some groove sweet stuff, some good stuff. And the food truck is out there and drinks is right here. Please partake. I want y'all to take a picture real quick, so don't leave nowhere. But did y'all enjoy this? Please let us know if you enjoyed it. Please follow MPN Management. You can go to Instagram and they'll take you to the link. We have our website, mpn-lc.com. Follow it because we're going to be doing follows on it. If you have any questions that you want to ask the panelists, please send it in our DMs or whatever the case may be, or you can talk to them afterwards. and ask the question. But please send it, and we'll make sure we get it to them and get an answer. All right, we all about elevating, empowering, all that stuff. All right, stick around, please. We finna play some music, food truck, drinks, all of the things. All right, in the old Negro wells of Wayne Peterson to the top.